of years, and my kids started getting older and were interested in going back to trying public school. I said, great, let's try it. And as they started returning to school, I found myself looking for sort of a new role. My role as full-time mom was lessened a little bit, and looking for what did I want to do with my life. I was going to be 40, and what do I want to be when I grow up, right?
Exactly.
And as I looked around, so as someone who had taken a break from the workforce and was looking to get back into it, I was looking at all kinds of schooling options. I had begun applying to law school at one point in
Nice.
grade. And so I thought, would that be a possibility? Anyway, just and looking at what jobs and opportunities were out there. And as I did that, I started to see a need. I saw other women just like me who were a little bit confused and a little bit unsure. Actually, scratch that. They were a lot unsure.
Yes.
They didn't think they had what it took to go back to school or to start again, or they were stuck in a job that they didn't like, or they wanted to pivot to a new industry and they had no idea how to do it. They had no resources. And so I started to look for resources, and they were hard to find. And so I wanted to, I saw a need, and I wanted to fill that need. And so I stepped up and said, let's create a big event for people to come together. And as part of that, we created the AspireHer community for working women, all kinds of working women, whether they're, have full-time careers outside the home, or whether they're entrepreneurs and they have a small business in their home, or they were like me, moms who'd taken a break and were returning to the workforce. And so we started creating this event. And so that's where we pivoted. I started that about a year ago, and we're just coming up on our first big event. We've created a community. We've started the dialogue. We've gathered these amazing speakers and mentors who are going to be part of our community. And so that's kind of where I am. That's how I started and pivoted, is just seeing a need and wanting to fill it.
Okay, I just love this. First of all, little side note, I turned 40 this year. And you are speaking to me, because just this last school year, the one that we're now homeschooling, my 3 kids just got into, all 3 of them are now in public school. So I said, okay, this is my turn again. And trying to get back in the workforce, applying to graduate school for master's in social work to go into counseling. But the overwhelm, it's like I'm taking those stepping stones. I think I represent a lot of our audience, a lot of the moms and women out there who are like, I have ideas of what I want. First, a couple years ago, I don't even know. Being in the survival mode of momhood, at some points I didn't even know what in the world I want to do. I should know at this point, but you lose yourself, or a lot of us do. And then, but I love, so the stepping stones that you're providing, and that's something, and that's why I was so excited to get you here before AspireHer conference, because I didn't know very clearly until fairly recently that AspireHer is not just for women who are really into business, but there's 3 different levels. And I feel like I'm 1 and 2 levels. I'm the mom getting back into the workforce. I'm the mom kind of tinkering with starting my own thing, as well as, my side jobs and stuff. And so this just calls to me so much. And the fact that you saw this need, you saw a need, and you went for it. That's huge. So is this your passion? Is this your purpose? What are your purpose and passions, would you say? And how do you identify it? How did you embrace them? Tell me about that, please.
I would say one thing I've always known about myself is that I love women. I love being around women. I love the power and the energy and the support that we feel for each other. And I don't know if that came from growing up with all brothers. And so I wanted to have that
desperation for women, right?
Right. But now I do. I find great power, and I just feel really drawn towards being around other women, and it feels very natural for me to encourage them. I have so much confidence in other women that they don't see in themselves. I have no problem lifting someone or buoying them up and saying, of course you can do this. And what can I do to help? And I think a lot of women are really good at that. That's one of our natural gifts. And so it's one of the things that draws me to it. And so I didn't ever, I always envisioned myself, maybe on a board or something that worked with women and helping and encouraging women. But I spent so many years as kind of an entrepreneur. So I was a little bit isolated, and homeschooling. So I'm more isolated.
Yeah.
And so I think subconsciously I was waiting for an opportunity to present itself. And so when I started thinking about filling this need, I realized I didn't need to wait for someone to hand me a position that would let me support women. I could do something myself. And so I didn't really ever imagine this happening, but I did see, I have always known that I wanted to do that, something that encouraged and supported women.
I love that so much. And so the little steps you've taken along the way, you feel like has led you to this point. And I keep glancing down because I am writing notes. I'm a visual learner, and I love these messages that you're sharing of, you kept waiting for an opportunity to present itself. We are all guilty of that because it's comfortable. It's easier that way. It's safer that way, for heaven's sake. But unfortunately, the longer we wait, the less opportunities there are. Sometimes we need to create that. And sometimes we need to create those for the women who are not as strong as we are. We don't know our own strength, right? And sometimes we have to step up and provide the opportunity for the women who we're here to lift. And I love that your passion for so long has just been encouraging and supporting women. I love that. And I hear that. That is wonderful. Is this how the connection, is this how you feel connected to women, is like through strengthening and supporting them and lifting them?
I would say, I would say 100%. That is how, I don't even need to know someone. I feel like we connect with each other through our story. If I hear someone's story, I feel like I don't even need to know them. I can say, oh, you're doing great. You keep going. And I can't believe how strong you are for getting through this. And, I feel like we connect with each other through our stories. And maybe, as women, we're empathetic, or there's some innate characteristic or something that helps us do that. But I feel like that knowing each other's stories really connects us in ways that maybe we don't connect with society as a whole, but through those stories. That's really what I've enjoyed the most is, as I've started this and I've connected with people through social media and through finding speakers to come to the conference, is connecting with their story and what they've been through. And I'm hoping that that's what, through AspireHer, that's what we can share with these speakers, that they can act as mentors. They can share their story. Look, this is what I've been through. This is how I overcame it. This is what I can share with you to teach you. It acts as a huge stepping stone for others to learn from those stories.
And that is something I was listening to you the other day on the huddle, and you were talking and teaching about finding a mentor. And I admire that you not only, I admire that you believe in that and that you are vocal about that. And because I think so many of us yearn for that, and yet some of us see it as a weakness, or maybe not so much a weakness, but a burden on somebody else for asking, I admire what you do, and I want to know what you know, or at least on certain parts. Can you help me? And you were giving the reasons to do it. Be the squeaky wheel. Most people would be flattered, and grateful to have somebody come up and be like, can you help me, or can you advise me even just a little bit? And so you even brought that up right now of, and I think you shared it with the huddle group too, and I love this image of women lifting women. And there's always somebody going to be in front of us or ahead of us, and there's going to be somebody behind us. And if we can just be lifting each other, no matter our level, so much good. And so it's powerful. Women can empower women, and we should, and we do, but we, more purposefully. So I am excited about this event. Why don't you give us a couple of minutes? Why don't you tell us about this event? Because I am super excited. And we actually have Veronica Benson. Hey, Veronica, who's going to be a facilitator, a group leader too, which is fabulous. So go ahead, Erin, and tell us about it.
That's right. Hi, Veronica. Veronica is going to be one of our speakers doing a presentation for just what we were talking about, women who have taken a break from the workforce and are going back to the workforce, how to make that transition. So I'm so excited. Thank you, Veronica. And the conference is full of speakers like that. You actually mentioned a couple of things that I thought, oh, we have somebody talking about that. And oh, we have somebody talking about that. You mentioned that you're kind of straddling two of those sections, like you're a business owner, but also returning or, looking to get a career, that kind of thing. You're straddling two. And so we have one speaker who I just was talking to today, and she will be speaking about trying to start up a business while you also have a 9-to-5. So that's a great option for people.
Yes, that's
right.
A good topic.
And another speaker talking about how to balance how to balance mom life and working life, which is something that a lot of women need as well. So the conference will look like it's 2 days. We've got, I think at last count, there were about 40, I want to say 45, maybe it was 40. Anyway, somewhere there around over 3 dozen presentations.
Wow.
And there'll be all those 3 tracks that you mentioned that we talked about: professional working women, entrepreneurs, and women returning to the workforce after a break. And so you can kind of choose from which presenter you want to hear. There will be chat rooms going on where what the platform is looking like is you'll be able to go in and register for the event once you've bought a ticket, and you can you can put in your profile, whatever you want to put in. If you want to add your LinkedIn, your social media, tell people about yourself. So that way, when you're chatting with people, you can look them up, get a little bit more information about each other. So I love that it's a great way. It'll be a great way to network and connect with people there. There will also be chat rooms going on during the in each presentation. So if you want to ask questions or write notes to each other, other people watching that presentation. And then after the presentation, there will be a live Q&A with the speakers, which I'm super excited about, so that they can connect a little bit more deeply with the people watching. And then the other cool thing is that, you won't be able to watch probably all 40 or whatever in the 2 days because it's just too much. But people that register will have access to all of those videos for a month after. I think it's 30 days after the conference. And so potentially you could go back and watch all of them, or whichever ones, relate to your circumstances. And we've just started up a new Facebook page just for people attending. And so we're going to get that group going. So if people want to meet each other before the conference there, they can do that as well.
And I am so excited about that. That is, okay. Part of me is like, oh, it's not in person. I love meeting and gathering women in person. Right. However, I am one of those who don't live in your state. And when I first saw it being advertised before, the world froze for a moment, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be out in Utah a couple of times before that. Can I make it for that conference specifically? And I was like, probably not. So now that it's online and we're going to be able to watch all of those ones that we would have missed, it is fantastic. It is a pretty darn good consolation.
I know, I'm so glad.
I'm really excited the way you pivoted, and good job, good call on that. I know, I can imagine that would be a huge stress, but you did it. Your team is doing it. You're getting over those obstacles like we have in life. So I congratulate with that. Veronica, did you want to add anything? Let me unmute you. Did you want to add anything, Veronica? Are you unmuted?
Yeah, I'm glad I hopped on with you ladies. And honestly, yeah, it's going to be exciting. I love how, Erin, you guys have opened up the new Facebook page, and just a new way to connect, whether it's like someone down the street from you that you don't know yet, or it's someone across the country. And, you know, I just feel like those connections are so valuable, not just for business, but for life. Like, like I've met so many amazing women through things like this. So I'm really excited. It's going to be great.
Well, I'm excited, and I will definitely be seeing Veronica in her class because I need what you have to say. I'm just excited about it. I'm going to go ahead and mute that. So thank you for sharing that, Erin. The AspireHer conference is going to be fantastic. I do have a question, though, going back to one of the purposes that I like to talk about, or specifics that I like to talk about, is your best self. Because I mentioned that earlier, and I am curious, what is it that you envision your best self to look? And well, let's start there. Are you living your best self? Like, do you feel like you're there yet, or you're doing a pretty good job on the path, or what do you think?
I think that's a really interesting question, which obviously is going to be very different for each individual.
Mm-hmm.
I am actually going to reference something that I learned. I went to a retreat that Veronica here hosted, and I learned something really, really important there. We did it was a meditation moment that was really, really meaningful to me. It was actually an incredibly spiritual experience. I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but for me, it was incredibly spiritual. The meditation, it was a guided meditation talking about walking along a beach, and you're approached by your highest and truest, best self, like you're talking about here, and to imagine what that would be like. And I felt it was incredibly moving for me. As I sat there with this group of women with our eyes all closed, envisioning this, what I imagined was myself, but without judgment. I saw, it was almost like meeting some sort of angelic form. And what I felt from this highest, best self of me was so much love, just love, 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 love. And it was so moving and so overwhelming to me. And no judgment, like this being who totally saw me, who saw all my fears and all my failings and all of my, all of the positives and the good things and good qualities, and just accepted me, and most of all just said, you are doing so much better than you realize. And like I said, it was such a spiritual experience for me. And so when you say best self, that's what I imagine. I don't imagine someone who's doing like ABC and has this long list and a resume and is accomplishing all of these things. That is how I would hope people could see for themselves, is a lot of love and acceptance about where they've been and where they are, and the total hope for amazing, wonderful, great things in the future where they're going. But most of it couched in just intense love and acceptance.
That is beautiful. That is amazing. And thank you for sharing that. And what an awesome experience it sounds like that meditation and that retreat was, Veronica, also.
You know, Erin, so I've done that now 4 times, and every time it's, I feel like it's such a key part of the weekend. And like Erin said, it's such a personal experience, but I feel like we have a lot of those answers, and we have a lot of what we're envisioning. We just don't often get a chance to see it. And so it's neat being able to be on the other side and watch everyone with their eyes closed and whatever, but what a great way to describe it, Erin. I'm glad you were there to do it, because honestly, I feel like when we touch base in like our inner selves or higher being, or whatever you want to call it, I think we're able to move forward with those things that we're truly meant to be in our lives and we're meant to do. So,
yeah, it was a great experience. I would recommend anybody taking a minute to, if like you're talking about your best self, take a minute to meditate about that and what that looks like for you.
And we do it every time now.
You do it every time. That's good. And people can do it in their own home, like Erin just suggested. But I love how you did not focus on, well, my best self has done this amount of conferences and like the A, B, and C, the specifics. But you were talking about, I felt loved and I felt accepted. Because some people confuse, well, when I get such and such, when I weigh such and such, when I have such and such accolades or numbers of followers, then I'll be able to love myself because then I'll be worth it. But we're not going to keep going. It's hard to progress when we don't accept ourselves. Accepting ourselves and loving ourselves does not mean that we're giving up and we're like, okay, you know what, I'm stuck here and that's it. No, it says it's giving ourselves grace. And thank you so much, Erin, for bringing that up. Of you felt acceptance, you felt love, and that was what helped you project even more and keep going. So thank you for that.
And it also helped me see that I had more potential, right? That there was potential for more growth and more to come. But my worth wasn't contingent on that. The worth just exists as is.
Yes, we have the worth. We have so much value, and we need to accept ourselves and love ourselves for that. We are stronger than we think, and definitely even just the women here, just such awesome and amazing examples of the power. And when women see needs out there, to try to fill them, and you're not going to fill it perfectly. You know, Erin, you've had a lot of obstacles come at you this year with your conference, and you were probably thinking, oh my gosh, I've heard you say and other things like didn't know what to do, and you pivoted and you figured it out, and it's going to be amazing, and you're going to touch so many lives through this. So well done on that. I am curious, actually, why don't you share with us where the women can connect with you? You did mention this earlier, but I just want to make sure that anybody else can get how to find you, any platforms, any special programs like your conference going on right now.
Yes. So we have a website, AspireHer.com, and that's where you can register for the conference. And let's see, on Instagram, we're at aspire.her. And we post a lot of things there, updates on our blog. We'll have articles from people about different issues that women deal with in business and encouragement, things like that. We also post about our speakers and what they're talking about, things like that. We're going to be doing some giveaways. Some of our speakers are going to be doing giveaways of tickets in the coming weeks. We are also on Facebook. There's an AspireHer page. If you're attending the conference, we're just starting to add people to an AspireHer private group. So if you want to come, or if you've registered or whatever and you haven't been invited to that, you might be able to search it and ask to join. I can't remember. Or just send a message to us on our AspireHer page and we'll get you connected over there.
I have little fingers knocking at the door right now. I want to ask you, and I've been, as I said, I've been looking at all those different sites, and so I wanted to let everybody else know how to find you. I want to ask you before we conclude, can you share with women in our community an empowering statement or giving them a challenge that has really helped you grow? Just kind of sum up, give us something to go off, because you have said so many awesome things during this, but I'm going to ask you to leave us with one tidbit here, please.
Yeah, I would say one of my sayings for myself is that when I come upon challenges or hurdles, I just view them as items on my to-do list. So if you come across something that you feel like, I can't do this, or I can't overcome this, or this is like a wall in my way, instead of letting it overwhelm you or make you want to quit, just add it on. Just think of it as problems to be solved. What do I do next? How do I overcome this? And that's, we're never going to be over our obstacles. That's life. We're always going to have them with each passing year. And so that is my main encouragement, is to not let yourself quit. Just add it onto your to-do list.
I love that. Don't let yourself quit. Just add it onto your to-do list. Don't let it become a mountain. Just break it down and you can do it. Thank you so much, Erin. I really admire you.
Thank you.
And I'm excited for this conference. I'm excited to see what more you put together for us women. And I'm just grateful for women out there like yourself who are reaching down and helping lift others to continue on our way. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye.
We'll see you at AspireHer.